Greetings everyone, I am Selvalis and today I want to make a video to the Total War community as a whole. Fantasy players, historical players, this is for both. I want to talk about Total War Troy, Total War Pharaoh, CA Sophia, and the general state of things. I'm recording this on September 30th. Hyenas has been cancelled, and Sega is on the warpath. I think that people should give Troy and Pharaoh a chance. I think that the CA Sophia devs are some of the most creative individuals at Creative Assembly. Troy got dealt a lot of L's automatically by management. For those who don't know about the history of Total War Troy, it was an Epic exclusive for a year. It was brought over to Steam at full price. It has very good DLC, but it's, again, all full price stuff. It may be a Saga title, but they are charging like it isn't. And it had originally a mode called Truth Behind the Myth. When you start a campaign in Troy, it either starts as historical, Truth Behind the Myth, or mythological, with historical being, straight history, and mythological being more Warhammer-like, with monsters like the Minotaur, the Hydra, Cerberus. Truth Behind the Myth tried to do the realistic version where, like, centaurs are horsemen and the Minotaur is just a big dude with a cow skull on his head. That pissed everybody off. But they learned from their mistakes, they pivoted, and they made the Mythos DLC, which added both those modes. It sucks that the best versions of the game are locked behind DLC, but they listened and they did that. And a lot of the really cool things of Troy actually went into Warhammer 3. The diplomacy system, distilled down from Three Kingdoms into something more manageable, was imported almost exactly into Warhammer 3. The whole balance a deal thing came from Troy. The um, the warband system from the Warriors of Chaos rework, arguably the best DLC for Warhammer 3 right now, that was based on the Amazons. That was originally CA Sophia's work. The Total War team copied that and brought it over. And I think Sophia doesn't get the credit they deserve for how good they are. I mean, just look at this map. It is gorgeous. Look at this skybox. It's very thematic, and if you're in myth mode, which I'm in historical right now, you can see the gods around you, and the work they did, I think, is very heavily underrated. And now they've been dealt another L, being told to make Total War Pharaoh, and it not being marketed as a saga. So, because Troy didn't do great, I think CA is kind of abandoning sagas again, even though it's not Sophia's fault. They made a good game, and I think they had longer and maybe the myth mode been built in from the beginning, this would have been an amazing saga title, well worth its price. And then you add the Lord packs on later, and we're all good. Every Lord pack was well crafted. Every character is unique. Every campaign's unique. Unfortunately, though, they had to move on to Pharaoh, and nobody asked for Pharaoh except for internally. A Bronze Age Total War was an idea that people said this would be cool, and I've even heard rumors that they might try and do a Immortal Empire style Bronze Age map combining Troy, Pharaoh, and potentially something else in the farther east, but, I don't think we're getting that right now because of what's going on. As I mentioned before, Hyenas has been cancelled. That wasn't done by Creative Assembly. That was Sega, the parent company. The first name you see popping up when you boot up a Total War game, and almost nobody thinks about them. But, unfortunately, Sega's posting losses. Big losses. They cancelled Hyenas from Creative Assembly. Something really bad had to happen for them to just straight up cancel a game that we have footage of that looked like it could be released in the next couple of months. I don't remember if there was a release date for it, but I mean, it was very far along. We had closed betas. If you can get to the closed beta stage, that's almost a guarantee a game's coming out. But they had decided to forego losses, or forego potential profit, not much. Like, Hyenas was dead on arrival, no question, but they decided to just cut their losses now instead of releasing it, and that's scary because that means something really bad is up. Like they're eating guaranteed losses with no chance of recovery. If you put a game out and you work on it a little bit, there's always a chance to rebound. It's not a guarantee, but we have things like No Man's Sky, Final Fantasy 14. Heck, even Cyberpunk 2077 is looking a lot better these days. They didn't do that. They killed it before it came out. They're not going to make a cent off of it. It's a giant loss. Unfortunately, to the best of my knowledge, everyone working on Hyenas has been laid off. And that's, again, a decision by Sega, not Creative Assembly. But also, Creative Assembly did greenlight that project. And it was a bad idea from the start, but I'm talking about Total War now. It's Sega coming down with the hammer. There probably have been layoffs on the Total War teams. We don't have the official information. It's a Saturday. I've not seen anything else since the announcement, but I would not be shocked if Total War has been affected by this. And more importantly, Total War is on the chopping block too. People have been saying they'll never do to Warhammer 3 what they did to Three Kingdoms. And I agree. Creative Assembly wouldn't do that. But Sega would. We had Shadows of Change come out, and it was boycotted because a lot of things went wrong. The DLC was not, the price was increased significantly. The DLC did not live up to the hype across the board. If they were going to do that price increase, it had to be 3 for 3 on Lords at the Changelings level. Instead, we had the Changeling, which was at that level, Yuan Bo, which I would say was 3/4 of the way there, and then uh, Baba Yaga, who was not at all what people wanted, and we didn't get enough units, and we didn't get enough Lords and Heroes. People boycotted it. It did badly. The statement from CA fueled a lot of that fire. In hindsight now, knowing what we know about Sega, that might not have been the threat we took it as. That might have been a plea that didn't come across right. Contractually, they have stuff with Games Workshop. Sega's not going to want to have to pay to break those contracts. But unless Thrones of Decay does really, really well, I do worry about the longer term future of Warhammer 3 and Total War in general. And that is why I am making this. Give Sophia a chance. I understand that I am asking a lot of people. I even originally was not planning to pre-order Pharaoh. I I I was with y'all there. I didn't ask for it. I didn't really want it, but I want to support the developers, so I was planning on buying it when it went on sale. I saw the polls by Legend of Total War and Cody Bonds, and I voted I'd buy it on sale. Most people voted they weren't going to buy it at all. I changed my mind on the pre-order. Not because I want early access, not because I want the skins that come with it. I changed my mind because I don't want to see Sophia go under. Now, full transparency, I did not pre-order on Steam. I do the humble monthly bundle, which gives me a 20% cumulative discount on their store because I've been subscribed to it for so long. So, I did pre-order it at a discount, but I still did go ahead and pre-order it. If it's within your means, and that's a big if because this is a full price Total War, and if you don't have access to the sources I do, or if you just use Steam, it's full price. And it's a high price. But if you can, please reconsider supporting CA Sophia. Even going out and getting Troy now, or getting a DLC you don't have for Troy, any little bit can help. Sega is going to be looking to continue cutting costs. And I'm very worried for CA Sophia and the developers. And again, these guys laid the foundation for some of the best parts of Warhammer 3. Like, fantasy fans. I know a lot of you came over from Warhammer. You don't play the historical Total Wars. but there is a strong connection between all the games. They pull from each other, and unfortunately right now, Warhammer 3 is not innovating very strongly. They're getting their best ideas from elsewhere. So, if we want a good Warhammer 3, we need CA Sophia to keep innovating. And if Pharaoh does badly, Sega might cut them or sell them off. If things go really bad, Warhammer 3 is on the chopping block. Thrones of Decay has to succeed. Creative Assembly, if you are watching, please work with the content creators, work with the community before a month before a release. Do early internal betas and NDA it all if you have to. Just take the feedback now while there's still time to make updates. We don't even have a release date. Delay it if you have to. No one will be mad if it's delayed and it comes out great. Like, I know it's supposed to be the end of this year. October is upon us, so there's only October, November, December left. If you have to wait till February, fine. It's gotta be a hit. It's gotta knock it out of the park. It's too late to save Troy completely. The damage is done. The pre-orders didn't come in. It comes out in less than 2 weeks. They are contractually obligated to produce a certain amount of DLC per the gold tier pre-order. But unless there's a lot of post-launch support, I fear that that's it, and that's the end of Sophia. Again, it's not Creative Assembly, it's Sega, their parent company. Anyone who's an Activision or a Blizzard fan knows that when Activision started interfering harder at Blizzard, we ended up with Shadowlands. I know things are expensive, and I'm in a position of financial stability. A lot of people aren't, so I'm only asking those who can. Please support the franchise. I know they've done wrong by us, but if we stop supporting them completely, it's gone, and we will not see the things we want to see. I want to see Medieval 3. I want to see Empire 2. I even want to see a 40k Warhammer one day, because I'm very curious what they do, and I liked the Dawn of War games. But if things go bad and continue going bad, they just lost Hyenas. Other internal projects have been cut. If they go under, we'll never see those things. Sega probably won't be able to sell them off. Microsoft is about to acquire Activision Blizzard. Anyone who's been following that knows it's been challenged on every level. Microsoft will not be able to acquire any more major studios. Not for a while, at least. I don't know if PlayStation or Ubisoft would want them, and EA buying them would be a death sentence. I don't want to see the franchise fold as a whole. I'm not thrilled with the choices they've been making, but I don't want to see them go under. We made our point with Shadows of Change in the boycott, but if we let Sophia fold, I don't think the Warhammer team can keep the ship afloat anymore. CA upper management needs to change too, but that's a topic for another day. Right now, this is to the fans. I am really worried about the franchise. I'm really worried Sega's going to come in. I don't want to see it fold. I want to see Total War keep going for another 20 years. If you can, pitch in somewhere, help them. It's so stupid. Help the numbers look better on the spreadsheet. That's what has to happen at the end of the day. And it sucks we live in a world where that is what is going to determine whether or not we get to see the things we want. And for those wondering about Troy, there are good mods. I use the Radius Total War mod, and there's another one I've been playing. Troy Complete Overhaul by Inquisitor completely changes up the early game. really, it feels completely different. If you don't like the base game, there are mods. There's a ton of things you can do with it. There will be mods for Pharaoh. It's a very important time right now, and I know a lot of the other content creators are, there's I don't think they're wanting to say this because it's a very doom and gloom thing, and I don't blame them for not wanting to say it, but I will because I really don't want to lose the Total War franchise. Support them where you can. If it's just not financially feasible, I understand. But for those of us who can, save Total War.